It's another edition on the program Gender and Parliament on NTA, the largest television network in Africa. And we have with us distinguished Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, Senate Chairman Committee on Special Duties, to discuss the trending matter for Nigerians, which is Nigeria's 21 years of unbroken democracy. Distinguished, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You are a two-time senator, so which means you're a beneficiary of the democratic process. How would you assess Nigeria's 21 years of democracy?
Well, thank you very much. It is not, a bed of roses, despite the fact that, yes, it is unbroken. But by and large, we have done, the best that we could within the circumstances, but we could have done better. Many people, speak about, dividend of democracy, in terms of providing, buildings, housing, roads, water, health, and what have you. For me, dividend of democracy is much more than that. For me, dividend of democracy is rule of law, acceptance of rule of law, living within rule of law, doing our conscience, working within our conscience to make sure that, we respect, the rule of law and we respect, one another. To that effect, yes, there are up and downs. I wish, we could have done better. But certainly, there is a lot more to do in terms of, what we have covered in the last 21 years.
So would you say that the legislature has played any particular role in deepening Nigeria's democracy these 21 years?
All along, in the military era, the legislature is one arm that has not been recognized at all. It is not there. So, it is within that ambit of law that I said, the legislature have done better, despite the fact that, they have not been recognized. So, be as it may, yes, we have played our role very, very well within the circumstances, with all, the bills that we have passed, over the years, the oversighting we have done, all the years, the effective representation we have done. There are some areas in this country where if there were no legislators, they will not smell any little impact of the federal government. So to that effect, I think we have met our impact, and every session of this country, has a feeling they have their own legislature, especially the federal legislature. Many people, talk about the complicated issue of constituency, projects, but for us, it is, a mark that we must celebrate. Constituency project is a mark. Despite the fact that, there are so many arguments about it, but we believe without constituency, our projects, there are some sections of this country will not have a feeling of the federal presence.
So how do we get the people to accept these constituency projects as something that is meant for their benefits and not looking at it from the perspective that somebody somewhere is trying to enrich himself under the name, him or herself, under the name of they are providing constituency project?
I tell you what is a small matter. It's all, consultation. What I do in my own constituency is that, look, this and this and this and this have been, earmarked for this location, that location, this location, this location. And therefore, let us look at it. Is it what is most beneficial to you? Or, we have to change, what we are going to put. So it's all matter of, sitting down at the constituency with the stakeholders, with the people that have voted us into power. We sit down and understand one another and then pick it from there. That is the only way, the people will understand. Although there's a lot of ignorance. I tell you, in the 8th Assembly, I could remember Senator Stella Odua. She brought in a bill on constituency projects. To our surprise, when it come to public hearing, nobody went there. With all the hues and cries in this country about, legislators are misusing, our funding of our constituency project, but to our surprise, people did not even go there to protect or to represent or to iron out or to understand, what this is. So I think, in this country we need to do a lot more in terms of, reaching out, especially, your own constituency, the media. The media will have to help us a lot in making sure that, what we discuss, what we do, we narrow the gap between the elected and the people who have actually elected us into power.
Okay, we will play our part like we are playing now, having this interview session with you. So every system has a weak link or a weak point. What would you say is that of the legislative system?
To my own understanding, a legislator has three major roles. One is lawmaking, the other one is oversighting the executive, that is the MDS, and then the third one is, effective representation. Both of them, need to do a lot of improvements. In this country, we still need to do a lot more in terms of, making laws. We also need to do a lot more in terms of oversighting the MDS. We also need to do a lot, in terms of educating our people about representation. People have a lot of confusion as to what does a legislator need to do. We are not executive. There's executive function is different from legislative function, but sometimes even with the legislator, when we go to campaign, we'll give you water, we'll give you school, we'll give you hospitals and what have you. While in reality, what we are telling our people is we will go and discuss with the executive arm of government to make sure that we negotiate, put it in the budget and do this. Our own role is not to execute, our own role is to make sure that, our people are adequately represented in terms of the projects, that the executives are bringing on board to the budget.
Okay, so that brings us to sustainability. How can we nurture democracy to a point that it will be self-sustaining?
Well, self-sustaining, I'm sure you have not landed, but if I understand very well, maybe you're talking about financing, you're talking about funding, you're talking about, yes. You see, I remember what our blessed, Mashoud Abiola said. When he did his program on education, they said, what? Your education program is very, very, very expensive. He said, okay, between education and ignorance, which one is more expensive? So we have to accept the fact that legislature are the typical representation of the people of this country. We are people's representatives. So we need, people need to understand their own role as citizens of this country. I think as per Section 24 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the legislature, at the national level, we do our checks and balances with the executive, So to sustain this, we need to build a lot of confidence for people to understand what is the role of the legislature. And remember, we are coming, out of, although it's 21 years, up till now, there is militancy in some of the things that we do in this country. People think that they can take law into their own hands. I don't want to mention there are some governors who think that, they are laws to themselves. They can go in, do whatever they want. They can break the law without any civility in it, even though it is in a democratic dispensation. So I think that is what will be sustaining democracy, not even the financing. The financing is the minutest aspect of it. There are so many of us, in the National Assembly. I'm telling you, we subsidize. We subsidize, running our offices. We do it, In the United States of America, a senator, not only, running his office, he needs a lot of consultants. That is why people will bring down, to the basic, summaries. in which they can take effective decisions. Here in Nigeria, a senator is the clerk, a senator is the secretary, a senator, you know, is the consultant, the senator is the admin officer, the senator does everything, you know, within the context. That is why sometimes we do things in a hurry, because we do not have time. So, but I think the people of this country should begin to appreciate that the legislature has come to stay, and legislative arm of government is also as important as the executive, because without the legislature in the democracy, you will not have effective, you know, execution, you know, on the executive side. So I think the sustaining is not just money. The sustaining is, you know, understanding the role. Sustaining is bridging the gap between us and the electorate. Also, you know, in the effective checks and balances, you know, with the executive.
Now you talked about subsidizing. One would think that we should be trimming down, because we always feel legislators have so many people around them. But does this affect your work?
I have 5 people.
Okay.
I have the secretary. I have my senior legislative, you know, assistant. I have my legislative assistant, my PA, and my legislative aide. That's what I have. Now, we have to work here. We have to work back home. We have to be running, you know, go and come back. You know, we have to do, you know, our research. You know, we have to do, you know, in preparing our bills, presentation of our bills. We have to also, you know, talk to our people back home. For instance, in the last one, when I did, you know, this bill on Federal College of Education, Mutumbiu, you know, so it is a big project. But people think that, well, because you are an individual working, you know, the project is not much. But I think, you know, what is happening is we need a lot of, you know, education, a lot of interaction, a lot of understanding, you know, with one another, and not, you know, the people start to feel that, you know, you go there, you spend 4 years, go away, someone comes. There should be, you know, an element of understanding of continuity, you know, as we go along. That is also an area that will sustain, you know, the democracy in this country.
So how do we get to have a continuity? Because constitutionally, the senator may not be affected by the number of times he's elected, but the executive is.
That is why, you know, in the presidential system of government, you know, we say in Nigeria today is every four years, you know, we go for, you know, national election. You know, yes, as good as it is, in some places they do much longer. It depending on what we think what is good for this country. How are we going to move? You know, for instance, if we find as we go along, 4 years is too short, why can't we increase it? So it is all dependent on what we want to aspire, what we want this country to be. Some few years back, Dubai was nothing, was just a desert. Today, Dubai is the epicenter of development in this country. You go to Dubai, you say, is that place that that they were talking about some 20 years back, a desert? So are they changing their administrations every 4 years? No. So I think it is us, you know, yes, we know it is a federal structure. We know we have maybe over 240, you know, ethnic groups. Yes, we know. We are multi-religious, we are multilingual, we are all this. So we have to have, what do we really want? What perspectives do we want to play? Some people are already saying that, you know, the 109 senators, you know, are too much for this country. Some are saying that the 360 members House of Representatives are too much for this country. But they are forgetting one thing: it is representation. It is all inclusiveness. You know, if they say only few people are going to run, just like what the military were doing, you know, not everybody, you know, was included in the running of the affairs of this country. So for me, I think these are areas that, you know, we are going to look into seriously so that we can move this country, you know, forward in terms of democracy.
Distinguished, we are having a very interesting conversation. I would like to pick you up on the issue of inclusiveness, but we will take a break. When we return, Gender and Parliament continues with Senator Yusuf, Abubakar Yusuf, and we are discussing 21 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria. Don't go away. If you're just joining us, the program is Gender and Parliament, and we are talking with Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, two-time senator representing Taraba Central Senatorial District. Now, sir, before we went on that break, you did mention inclusiveness, and so I bring you to the issue of gender, which is women, youth participation in politics, and how has it fared, you know, the business of legislation, gender, youth-wise?
In that respect, I don't think we have done much. You know, I think in the Senate we have maybe seven distinguished women who are in the Senate. I don't know how many of them, you know, in the House of Representatives. But I could remember in the 8th Assembly, we were talking about, you know, including, you know, women and youth. We were able to pass the bill on not too young to run. But in terms of women, some of us said no, not because the women are not important, but because women are our mothers. Women need to go and start from the grassroots. So we do not want women to catch it. That is why, you know, they're having difficulties in coping. They will say the men have taken it all. No, because they have not started, you know, at the grassroots.
Sorry, when you say at the grassroots, I mean, our mothers are the ones, community associations, welfare groups at the local government, at the village level. So when you say at the grassroots, what exactly are you saying?
I am talking about, you know, participation in elections. You know, at the grassroots, yes, you know, we have our mothers, we have our sisters, you know, who are, you know, are heads of, you know, various organizations, you know, associations. Yes, they are doing well. Not that they are not doing well. But what they are doing, how much is it they are supporting, you know, our daughters, our sisters in going into election? So the people, the culture need to understand the importance of a woman, you know, being, you know, in the election, you know, our process. For instance, now, you know, there's some of our women who are saying that they are going to contest, you know, for the governorship of various states. In my state, Taraba, we tried in 2015, you know, to bring in, you know, a woman to become the governor of Taraba State. But, you know, for one reason or the other, we were not lucky. So, and that is just to tell you that, yes, there are rooms that, you know, we can bring in women of substance to also participate. But the women themselves need to carry themselves. What I mean by carrying themselves is to get involved, and not to say that because I'm a woman, you know, I'm inferior. I cannot participate. For us, you know, in the Senate, a woman is a senator, a man is a senator. So they are senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They went to campaign. In fact, most of the women, I think all the women, have beaten the men. The women senators, their opponents were men. So it means that, you know, there is room, but they must, you know, start, you know, at that level where, you know, acceptability becomes the norm of the day. not, at the stage that, culture will say, oh, my religion is this, my religion is this. No. Let us all, accept the fact that, the women are important. There are women, just being a woman does not mean that, a woman is inferior. A woman can run into election and can do all what is, expected of a man to do. So that's what I mean by, having, a good participation, at the grassroots.
So let's talk about the high points of the legislature, the Nigerian legislature, these 21 years, but you have been in the Senate for 2 terms. What would you say are the high points of the legislature?
In the Ninth Assembly, we came back, with a promise we are going to give Nigeria the best we could. And under the headship or the presidency of Dr. Ahmed Lawan, we came in. If you observe how we battled it to get Ahmed Lawan, elected as president of the Senate, and what surprises a lot of people in this country, how come there was no rancor this time? How come there's unity, between the APC, the PDP to come together and elect, an APC man to become president of the Senate? So these are, I think, very, very important things to note. There was no rancor. There was understanding of one another. There was unity, despite the fact that we know that, in the presidential system of government, once you are elected, you are senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You are not senator of the APC. You are not senator of the PDP. You are not senator of the YPP. These are the 3 that we have. So for us, the high point is we are getting more and more united in our own purposeful, areas of running as, parliamentarians. So I think that is a very, very, significant point. 2, we are not elected to come and confront the executive, for God's sake.
That's because I was going to ask
yes.
the executive-legislative relationship.
Yes. So we are not elected to come and confront the executive. We are elected to come and work in harmony, to consult with one another, to make sure that Nigerians get, the best part of democracy that they could get. So the democratic representation they could get. So for me, the Ninth Assembly is an excellent one. We have an excellent rapport with the executive.
That's because I was going to ask the executive-legislative relationship.
They are happy the way we are going. We are happy the way we are going with them. And, we think we can very much improve on that.
So in this case, those saying that the Ninth Assembly is the rubber stamp of the presidency, they are wrong.
They are very, very wrong. I will tell you why. Presidential system of government is not like parliamentary system of government. In the parliamentary system of government, you have what we call opposition. In the presidential system of government, you do not have opposition. What you have is minority and majority. Okay. So that is why, if you observe, we have our leader of the Senate who is from the majority party, and we have, our minority leader, who is the minority party. So they are not opposition. A lot of people misunderstand this concept of presidential system of government in this country. That is why we fail to understand. They think that, whatever comes from the executive, we should oppose it. No, we should rationalize and then go ahead with it. So for me, I have not seen, something that the executive has brought, which, we have not rationalized it in the best way we could, so that, we can actually, oppose it. No. You do not oppose for the sake of opposition because you think that you are a minority party. No. So you are, first and foremost, like I said, Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So whether you are from minority party or you are from majority party, the whole country in a group is our constituency.
So then we will say that the legislature as it stands now is truly representative of the people.
Yes, quite, as it, because we, every, what do you call it, every bill that we do, it goes to public hearing. And public hearing is involving, the people to come and express their opinion, whether they accept or they reject. Two, we have committees. In these committees, we engage the MDS, we engage the public, come and tell us, where we are going wrong, what do you want us to do, and we go to our constituencies, we sit down with them. So we are getting it much, much better and very, very, very improved. So that all what we need to do is, to engage our people much more. And then the media. The media is very, very important arm in democracy, because if you understand what we do in the parliament and you impact it to the people down there, I think you are going to bridge the gap. So that is my understanding, the major role that, the media, can play in harmonizing, our thoughts between the people that have elected us and those of us that are elected, and then to separate the role. We are not executing anything. We are legislating. So, but a lot of people think that, because we came from military, military background, where we have, what do you call it, you are sacked with immediate effect and what have you. No. In democracy, it's rule of law. And I think this is what we have tried to do, and this is what we are doing, and until we are getting it better and better and better.
So before we go, share with us your experience being in the Senate.
Thank you very much. Wonderful experience. I am, a 63-year-old man, and I came in, in the last 5 years. Although my election, as you know, has been, quite, a tough one. I've never been in politics until 2014, never in my life. And what is so beautiful about it, you have 109 colleagues of yours from various parts of the country. You will come and blend. You blend very, very well. Today I understand, what a Yoruba man stands for. And I'm sure a Yoruba man also, understand what a Fulani man stands for. I understand what a Hausa man stands for, Ishekiri, Robo, Kanuri, and what have you. So we blend very, very well. When you meet us in the parliament, we call it esprit de corps as well, because we understand ourselves more and more now. I cannot meet a senator from Kwara today, and begin to say, the person in Kwara is not this, is not that. No. So the blending, the unifying factor, the understanding, the education, privileges, that we have among ourselves. Now, if there is a marriage, you see all of us moving there. When there's, unfortunate, somebody losing, a relation, we all move there. We all understand. We feel for one another. And the feeling for one another is feeling for one another's community. So we are coming to find out that, contrary to what people are saying, that you look, the person, from the north is this, from the person from the east is this, this man, is aggressive, this man is dependent. In the house, we discuss with open mind and discuss it well and respect one another. So I think for me, it's the time, being well spent, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it most, as time goes on. And maybe, after we are through, we are going to write our books and, express, opinion to what has happened, during the years that we have been, in the Senate.
We thank you, Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, for obliging us your time on the program Gender and Parliament.
Thank you very much.
We have been talking with Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, Senator representing Taraba Central in the Ninth Assembly. He's actually a two-time senator. And the program Gender and Parliament comes your way again another time. But you can follow us and we keep the conversation going on our social media handles showing on your screen. Until next time, I am Vivian Itekpefo. Bye for now.